My name is Christopher Stutz, and I'm a graphic designer. We're doing another top 5 video. Today we're going to talk about top 5 branding mistakes to avoid. Number 5 is going to be hipster logos. You see a lot of these logos coming up, usually retro influenced. They tend to be for younger companies or with people with a younger audience. The problem is they fall into a category of being hipster logos or just trendy rather than having any semblance. The actual brand itself falls by the wayside, and the most important thing you get from this is the first thing you think of is, oh, this is another hipster company or this is another trendy company. The icons and the type, you don't remember them as much as you do remember the group itself, or the logos that they're so similar to, which is the hipster or the trendy logos. This is a big branding mistake because you don't stand out. You just fit into a category rather than have a brand that's going to stand the test of time. It's very dated. It falls into a time period. Number 4 is oversimplified type. You see a lot of type-based logos, some of them better than others. The problem is that these are used in the wrong implications, especially when it comes to oversimplified type. You see a lot of people, I think it comes from the Apple era of design where they had, very simple Myriad or some other font, and they would take a bold weight, and they would take a standard weight or a thinner weight, and they would put them two together, have one word and the other word, and push them together and make a logo type or anything like this. They would take and do something very clean, very minimal with the type, but the problem is that it's too clean, it's too minimal, there's nothing to remember it by, it's just over generic. And with this, you're not going to have any brand recognition at all. The third branding mistake to avoid is going to be generic logo mark. Now you see this, a lot of this comes to a combined logo style or the logos that would have, let's say you sold some type of organic foods, you would have, a barn, and then it would say, Maryland Farms or something on there. And the problem is that it's not that the type is just bad. It's just that the combination of the logo mark and the type really don't stand out. They're both generic, but specifically the logo mark. You would have something where, again, you'd have a farm, and they would just put a barn up atop of a simple, name of your company, whatever it is, in a standard font. But, the font you could get away with. You could forgive it if there was a really good logo mark, but there just isn't with these. And you see a lot of, the design contests and a lot of smaller companies, even bigger companies, you'd see have these just really forgettable, almost state seal type logos where they put a scene in there, or they've put a barn, or they've put, just a fish on there. The logo mark itself, there's no shape, style, or design that makes it unique to itself, and it just is completely forgettable. It says, oh, this is, something farms, and there's too many of them. You need to do something just a little bit different that's gonna make your brand stand out for better reasons. The second branding mistake to avoid is going to be abstract logo mark, and these are one of my least favorite. It's all about looking good, right, for these people, and it does, it follows design guidelines that do appear to look good, but the actual brand itself doesn't make any sense at all. It's just a color, a shape, and logo type next to it. And a lot of times you'll see these geometric shapes or these weird swooshes or something that it would say the brand. A lot of technology companies do this. And I sat down with them and I've tried to figure out what does this actually mean, if anything at all. And most of the time I couldn't get anything out of it. A lot of other tech companies that do this, they just have a color scheme, some kind of abstract shape, and their logo type. And the problem is that it has no meaning. As much as a designer would sell that it does, if you really look at it, nobody understands what that is. And it's just too abstract. Abstract is a good thing when you take two concepts, or you take multiple concepts and you push them together, and people can understand what's being said here. They can get something out of it. But in the type of these generic logo mark logos, they just nothing really to get. And I think even if the majority of people don't understand it, it's not going to be a memorable brand. In my opinion, it's not going to be a good logo, and they're just dime a dozen. I think if you really want your company to stand out, or if you really want to have a logo that's going to stand the test of time, you're going to need to do something unique and different with it. Number 1, the biggest in my opinion, the biggest branding mistake to avoid is cartoon logos. Now, this isn't every illustrated logo. It's not every vector logo. I've talked about NFL logos, my favorite ones. That's not really what I'm getting at here. I'm talking about poorly illustrated cartoon logos, you know, whether it's a car wash or a restaurant, or it could be anything. They've hired an illustrator, or usually the management or the owner has said, oh, well, we like, you know, our brand is a duck, so we're going to have a weird Daffy Duck thing doing something directly related to our brand, which is, you know, washing a car, or it's you know, whatever have you. But it's something that's been poorly illustrated, and it's far too cheesy for the company to really relate the culture or the corporate identity of the company. It just is too. It's just too childish, or it's just trying too hard to be fun or funny. I've seen a lot of car dealerships do this. I used to do print ads for car dealerships, and there was a lot of, we're throwing cartoons in there, we're throwing Santa Clauses in there and stuff like this. But that's not as big of an offense as putting it in your logo, and you will still have that. And it's not that it doesn't mean anything. It's not that it's not memorable, because it can be memorable and it can mean something, but it's too cheap and cheesy to really represent most of the companies that are using this. You know, these could be, even in bigger companies, they could have an alligator. I'll put a logo there. You're probably looking at it. So you can see even bigger companies make these mistakes, and it comes down to management or the, you know, interests or preference of those who are in charge of the company. And sometimes this is just egregious. You know, you get these managers or people in charge telling their designers or telling them whoever they've contracted out, okay, you know, our mascot is an alligator, so we like to have alligators all over the website. And does it have anything to do with what we're doing? No. Is that okay in some instances? Yes. But we're a, you know, multi-million-dollar company. We probably shouldn't have a poorly illustrated alligator representing us. People are just going to be confused or turned off by it. It doesn't necessarily say quality or reliability in terms of a service. But these have been my top 5 branding mistakes to avoid. I'm going to try to do more of these videos in the future. I hope you guys have enjoyed it.